Now, welcome back to Ireland AM. The tongue may be one of the most smallest organs in the body. Is it?
I don't know.
You've got a big tongue.
Shut up. That's so rude.
But in Chinese medicine, it can tell you, oopsie, a number of things about your overall health and well-being.
Well, from the size to the shape and even the colour, Chinese health practitioner Fiona Barry is here now to tell us more. Thank you for joining us, Fiona.
No problem.
Do I
Thanks
have
for
a
having
huge
me.
tongue?
Oh, you have a gorgeous tongue.
Thank you.
You have a tongue that somebody would like to snog. What could be better?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before you examine our tongues a little bit later on, obviously Chinese medicine involves a lot of assessing, a lot of diagnosing. Tell us how important Chinese medicine is, you know, going back over thousands of years.
Well, all medicine started with observation, same for Western medicine. And with Chinese medicine, it was very important to have observation because Chinese practitioners weren't allowed to actually touch their female clients. And of course, female clients had to be fully clothed as well. So they could just about see their ankles, they could touch their wrist, which is where the pulse diagnosis came from, and they could look at their tongues. So it was a really integral part of being able to diagnose.
Tongue, specifically the tongue, it seems to be able to indicate a lot of things. Just how important is the tongue?
It's really important, I suppose, when it comes to Chinese medicine. Now, we have to remember, you can't look at somebody's tongue necessarily and say, oh, you have X, Y, or Z, or X, Y, or Z is going on with you. It's always in the context of signs and symptoms that the person presents with. You're also going to take the pulse of the person. So what you're doing is you're creating this full kind of picture of the person. In saying that, you can look at somebody's tongue and you can kind of surmise and you can say, okay, I think there's maybe an issue here because there's a topography to the tongue. In other words, different areas of the tongue corresponds to different organs of the body. So the tip of the tongue is the heart. In behind it, we have the lungs. The sides of the tongues are the gallbladder, etc., etc.
Okay, so we're going to take a look at some graphics now and different tongue colours and what they can tell us. By the way, are some better than others?
Well, for a healthy tongue, you're looking at pale pink. Remember, your tongue is a muscle.
So this is a healthy one.
That's
Yes,
a nice tongue.
that's a nice
Is this
looking
your tongue?
isn't it? No, I wish it was. So this is a healthy tongue. So you're looking at a pale pink colour. You're looking at it sitting comfortably in the mouth. So it doesn't look too big for the mouth. You don't have a scalloped edge, which would mean it was sitting against the teeth. You have the tongue coat is just like a very fine misting on the tongue. That's all it should be. So if you're having to brush your tongue or scrape your tongue, that's telling you something.
Okay, our next graphic, the next one we have up here on air, take a look at this one now. This is probably after a night in Copperface Jack's.
Is this you after a night in Coppers?
Yes, here we go now. Okay.
So here you can see this is a tongue that's very swollen. It's also quite purple in colour if you look compared to the healthy tongue that we looked at. A lot of cracks there and it's very swollen. So this is somebody really who is, we would say they're very yin deficient. In other words, it's like their fluids are being burnt off from the inside of their body. This can be indicative of like quite chronic inflammation.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is somebody who needs to obviously address stuff in their health. Yeah.
Now, is it more with what we eat and drink that can affect our tongue, or what can we help? Well, how can we help, I guess?
Well, what we eat and drink will have an impact on the tongue. So again, it's really important when you're looking at somebody's tongue that you do ask them, you know, if you see something like this, you know, this fluorescent yellow coating, you know, the thing would be to say, what did you eat last? What did you drink last? Did you have coffee?
What about this one?
Did you have...
Fiona,
Trigger warning for that.
Okay, so actually this was a client of mine very recently. I only took this tongue photograph yesterday, so she did give me her permission.
Okay.
So she's been very sick recently. She had a very bad chest infection. So this is a redder than normal tongue, and so I was actually immediately asked her, I said, were you put on steroids? Because medications have an impact on our tongue. Yeah. Some medications are kind of hot and some are colder. Now, when you saw that yellow colour, she had a strepsil.
Okay,
So, yeah.
okay. But it was quite bloated in her mouth, quite
yes,
full,
very,
right?
very full, yeah. And if you looked at that, the coating was quite thick in one area and it had been burnt off the rest of the mouth. It had been burnt off the lung area and was having an impact on her digestive system there as well.
You can see it there again, yeah. What are the most common things you see then doing a tongue analysis?
Loads of people at the moment, I would find, our diet is very laden with kind of damp-forming foods, so I see a lot of swollen tongues. Energy drinks, oh my God, you see these pale, flabby kind of tongues. They're really unattractive. And you see that a lot with energy drinks, showing the impact it's having on the body. The other thing I see a lot of are an inflated rim to the tongue, or where it's slightly curled up. This is, we would say, liver qi, depression. This is because we're all really busy, we're all quite frustrated, we're running and racing, and it's really having an impact. So I see a lot of that.
Okay, now, so it's the moment we've all been waiting for.
I've been
moment I've
thinking
been
about
waiting
But I'm
it.
going to get up off my seat and I'm going to come a little bit closer to you. Right, so this is our first tongue analysis this morning, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do I see, and actually, we're always told growing up, don't stick out your tongue.
Exactly. Everybody gets so embarrassed when one of the first things I say to them is, "Can you stick your tongue out at me?"
Yeah.
And people are really reticent.
Okay.
And so go on.
Okay,
give
here we
us a
go.
look.
So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Am I ready?
Oh, well, I've done a lot of things now, Liam, so my dignity is at the door. Here we go.
Okay, all right, okay, pop it back in.
Huh?
Pop it back in.
Oh, pop it back.
in.
Okay,
Because
right.
if you leave it hanging out, obviously it's going to start becoming congested and the colour is going to change.
Okay.
So,
So what can you tell
with
me?
you have a midline crack. So you mightn't have digestive issues, but I
Midlife
think
crisis?
a midline crack.
Oh, sorry.
You might be having that too. You might be having that too. But that's for another episode. So that'll be another interview now, Derek. Are you and me afterwards on our own? So yeah, I would say you just need to be a little bit mindful of your diet. Okay, your digestive system is under a bit of pressure. You have that kind of slightly curled edge. So I bet you're a perfectionist, and this is my first time meeting you.
Yes, I would be, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say you're very hard on yourself, and I would say you don't like conflict. So I would say you bottle up a lot of your frustration and annoyance.
Funny enough, I do bite my tongue a lot, actually, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
And that's
There you go.
Okay.
So you're in for it now, Brooke.
Here we go. All right.
Stick it out there, Brooke. Your tongue.
Okay.
Okay, you can pop it back in. Okay, we have a party girl here.
Oh.
I think.
I am what I am. I am
Exactly.
what I am. I definitely am.
And one of the things I could see just very quickly on that, at the back of Brooke's tongue, she has a dip. And when you start seeing that dip, this is somebody who's working hard, playing hard. So you're kind of,
So she's dipping in and out.
It's called
she's-
burning the candle at both ends.
There you go. So yeah, so she's kind of decreasing her life energy. So but she's
Expectancy
young.
as well,
Yeah,
probably.
she's young at the moment. She'll get away with it, but that will start taking its toll as she gets a bit
Okay,
older.
okay.
Yeah.
So she's the one having the midlife crisis.
And
look, I have a scraper for you, look.
Thank you.
I have a scraper.
That's good
I have
to
a
know.
scraper. Here you
Yeah,
go.
it is
But
good
you
to
know
know. Thanks.
what is good about it is when you look at your own tongue, is look at your tongue as if and say to yourself, would somebody want to snog this tongue?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Genuinely, thank you so much. Now, if you are interested in learning more about your Chinese medicine, well, not yours, but you can find out more with fionabari.ie.
But
Thank you
after
so
the
much.
break, we're catching up with the one and only Rory Stories, as well as trying our hands at a bit of Bollywood dancing. I would snog your tongue. See you at
Thank
break.
you.